Brian. Next presenters today, again, my name is Mike Masterson. Brianne Murray, technical consultant with Rockwell Automation, will be handling the demo after I hand it off to her. But first of all, I think it's kind of important to see where does PTC fit into the Rockwell environment. So PTC, if you're aware of, if you've used Kepware in the past, that is a Kepware product, all their data connectors they make. Rockwell has joined forces with them to use the PT experience along with the Rockwell expertise to give us pretty much a comprehensive portfolio that brings together edge-to-edge analytics, machine-level learning, IIoT, and augmented reality to the industrial operations. So that's where we're fitting in with PTC fits into our system. The Innovation Suite product is an actual product that can be purchased. So, but we'll get into more licensing on that down the road. Okay. What we're looking at, the PTC products are the more based on the augmented reality, the connectivity via the Kepware, and the IoT part of it, which is being pushed more by the ThingWorx product that PTC has. There we go. Next. And then bringing it into advantage with the Rockwell software, the Rockwell analytic tools. So there's a quite kind of a look where the Rockwell products and the PTC products coexist. The ThingWorx, which again is the IoT software, the Vuforia, the augmented reality, the Rockwell's data analytics, edge computing, and their machine learning algorithms are available too, has a complete suite of products. So hopefully I haven't confused the issue, but we'll hand off to Brianne Murray, and she will be showing us the Vuforia chalk product, and we're going to take a look and see how we might be able to utilize it in our industries. All right, Brianne.
Yep, good morning, everybody. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, you're good.
Perfect. Before I dive into the details on chalk, one thing that I wanted to make sure that I did touch on is Mike mentioned Vuforia as a whole. Vuforia is actually a suite of products. There's 5 now that all fall into that Vuforia umbrella, whether it's Studio or View, where you're actually creating experiences using CAD models, or if it's chalk. This is the one that we're going to focus on today. That's more of like a collaboration tool. But just wanted to make sure that that differentiation was made there, just so you guys understand that this is one product. It's a really powerful one. And that's what they've actually got a promotion going on right now that I'll touch on as well. But just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that there's a little bit more to it than just one thing. But as far as what Vuforia Chalk actually is, it was initially designed to help manufacturers go through that buzzword that everyone's calling the digital transformation. It's a good introductory level tool that uses augmented reality that can help you get used to using that in other more training style activities or similar. But because of the current pandemic situation that we're in today, that's provided an entirely different opportunity that nobody foresaw. And a really good opportunity to use this tool. So as far as what it actually is, it's a video collaboration tool, and it uses an over-the-shoulder style video sharing. So what that means is one individual is connected via almost like a phone call, but they're sharing their video, and both users that are on that call can see that one individual's video of what's in front of them. What makes this different from like a Zoom or a FaceTime or the plethora of other video sharing tools that are out there is instead of everyone sharing their own face or their own screen or whatever's in front of them, both users are looking at that one image. Now, the other thing that really makes this different and sets it apart is it actually overlays PTC's augmented reality technology into the app. Now, what that means is whenever you get the app started, you calibrate using the tools of whatever end device you're using. So the gyroscope and the AR pieces that are already a part of that phone or tablet or whatever it is. Um, and you're mapping the space around you. So by moving around, it uses the camera and all of those tools to understand the perspective and the depths and what all is in the surrounding room. Now, by doing that, it allows both users to go in and take notes or make what they call annotations. But these aren't just little drawings that are going to float around in space. What they actually do, because of that 3D mapping step that was taken, is they actually stick to the specific product or wire or piece of equipment that you're focusing on and that you want to really understand that's in front of you. A big use case that we're seeing is really connecting experts with users as far as understanding how to service or troubleshoot problems in a panel or whatever it might be. But really, that's the technology as a whole. Now, that was a really high level overview. I'm going to dive into a few of the key features that you see here. But before I do that, I actually wanted to go ahead and just do the demo up front so you guys can see it in action. So to do that, I am going to hop over to my desktop. It does have a desktop mode. I will dive into what that means and the pieces of the puzzle there. And so I'm opening my phone at the moment and I'm clicking start session. Now what that's going to do is it's going to generate on my phone a 9-digit code. So instead of having to log in on the desktop here, I'm going to enter that code and then I'll be able to be connected. So bear with me here for 1 second. All right, I'm going to click join the session, try and make sure I'm muted so there's not too much feedback here. There we go. So you notice right now it's a black screen. I haven't clicked on my phone share video just yet. And before I do, I want you guys to keep in mind, it's going to look like I'm moving back and forth. And I am. The video screen on my phone is actually going to give me a prompt that says to move around the room so that it can calibrate and understand the space around me. So I'm going to go ahead and click share video and do that calibration there for a second. All right. There we go. Awesome. All right, so now that you can see kind of the demos in front of me, one thing I'm actually going to do, it's a little bit dark in here. If you can see my cursor moving around, this is me on the desktop mode. I can actually go in and turn on the flashlight of my phone here via this Vuforia app. So now everything you see drawn in blue is actually something I'm drawing on my phone. I can go and I can circle that power flex. I can move over to this chassis channel and say, hey, this guy's not working. What's going on here? You'll also notice those wayfinding arrows. That's this blue arrow on the side here is saying, hey, there's something written on the other side of the screen. Don't forget about that guy there. But you notice those annotations are staying pretty well aligned with what's in front of me. Now, if I, as the expert, want to draw something on my desktop, I'm actually going to pause this here because it's a little bit difficult to kind of hold my hands, keep it steady, and then also draw on my computer at the same time. But I'm going to click pause. And essentially what that's going to do is now I can move my phone wherever I want it. So let's say the user that's sharing video has to set their phone down to fix some wiring, do something else, or they're not able to keep it steady. I, as the user, can say, hey, there's a red light on, and I can, after pausing that, keep it still and draw whatever I need to do. So, hey, the solution to get that red light away, clear the fault, click the red button there. Now when I click play, you'll notice it's going to jump over to whatever I looked at last. So now you see I'm focusing on a different part of my dining room office setup here. But what I can see too is underneath that blue arrow, there's also a yellow one there. And so that's just telling me that, hey, there is something new written there. And so then I can go in, solve that solution. Same thing works over here. I can, as the user, it kind of pauses itself as you draw. Now you'll have to forgive my poor drawing here. I'm going left-handed. But you can make whatever changes are needed and necessary. A couple other things that I think are good to note. There's not an erase button per se, but you can undo. So I can go and click undo and you see my yellow circle there disappeared. This thing in the bottom corner here that looks like a gauge, that's what they call low bandwidth mode. So if there's a poor quality signal, whether it's via Wi-Fi or cellular, that the person viewing the video can click and it will help out clear up the picture a bit, and then other just small things like changing the color of annotations that were made. You can kind of see that there. That's really it as a whole as far as the demo goes. So I'm gonna end that session really quick and then hop back over to my infographic here. But honestly, all in all, it's a pretty simple tool. I think it's designed to where it can be a really powerful one, especially these days where we have a lot of people that are working from home and we're trying to figure out this new norm of social distancing. But it has a lot of opportunity to be really helpful, I think, for either connecting you with other people in your organization or connecting you with your customers or other people outside of your organization as well. So I'm gonna hop through these quick key features here. These are things that you probably didn't see while I was doing that really quick demo. But the first one is understanding license types. So the first type of license is what we call just a general user-to-user call. So think of that like you're looking at the address book in your phone. You click somebody else that you have their number saved. You can call them, they can call you, they can call each other. There's really no limitation into who can call who. Whenever you do have a Chalk package, it is limited to your organization. So anyone with the same email URL that has a registered Chalk account, you'll be able to call them, they'll be able to call you, and so on and so forth. Now, on the other hand, what PTC has done is they've created a host licensing system. And that actually allows you to connect to people who are outside of your organization that you want to connect with. A good example that we like to use is for OEMs or skid builders. Let's say they want to help troubleshoot or offer a service on their equipment to one of their end users or customers. Instead of having to manage a new license for every customer that's interested, what they can actually do is their end customers, all they need to have is the app. They don't have to be registered. They could be registered in their own organization if that's the way it works out. But essentially what they do is they, instead of calling someone, they would click start a session. That's what I actually did that you just saw on my desktop. And then what that session does, it generates that unique 9-digit code. They can either send the person they're trying to connect with a link to it, or they can send them that code. And then that person is then allowed to connect without ever actually having to register an account, find the person on their contacts list, or anything of that sort. So just, it's good to recognize that there are two different license types here and a few different ways that you can really utilize the app for whatever use case is gonna be most valuable to you guys in the future. Now, this next thing is something that you guys just saw. Chalk for desktop is an option. Right now, it is limited to host experiences. I do believe that PTC is working on making that available for all types of calls. But what was nice is you saw I didn't have to log into my desktop to get there. I just had to punch in that 9-digit code. The important thing to figure out there is who's sharing video, and obviously someone on their desktop can only be the viewer of the video. They wouldn't be able to be sharing video. But that's just a small differentiation. It helps too because it's a little bit easier to make annotations on a larger screen versus trying to do it on a phone and so on and so forth. That was actually a web-based browser, so it's connect.vuforia.com, and then once you have that in your URL, you're good to go. Now, the next key topic I'll talk about is low bandwidth mode. I mentioned it really briefly there. It was that gauge button that was at the bottom of the screen. You can kind of see it. It's a little small there. What that does is for really poor signal quality, you know, we have a lot of customers that say we don't have internet access in the plant and the cell signal is not great. Essentially what this does is it helps use a lower bandwidth signal while still giving a clear video. So how it does that is it actually decreases the frame rate so that you can view everything at that increased resolution. And that kind of helps be able to really see and point and draw to what's in front of you. Session summaries, I did not show you guys this one. It doesn't show up on the host mode on the computer, but I did get this at the end of the call today on my phone. Essentially what happens during the call is Chalk automatically takes screen captures and puts them as photos on the app. so that when you're done with the call, you can actually save these photos that are annotations that were made during the call. So like for me, the pictures were of when I circled that PowerFlex drive, when I drew an arrow to that GuardLogix controller. And then let's say that was a really good solution and I need to either share it with somebody or I need to document it for myself. I can then export those images on my handheld device, however you would normally with your phone or tablet. So email, text, AirDrop may even be an option or similar there. And then the last of the bells and whistles that I'll touch on pretty briefly here is there's an enterprise management tool that comes with all Chalk packages. And that includes the promotion that I'll touch on at the end as well. But essentially what this does is it gives people the ability to have administrative capabilities for all of the users of Chalk within their organization. So I can go and assign let's say 100, 200, however many accounts to people within my organization that I know will be using it. And I can assign them as general licenses, or I can give them host capabilities if, let's say I have a team of 20 that are going to go and service equipment or need to connect to people in another location. They can then go and connect outside of that. And that's all managed within this web-based enterprise management tool. There's a few other things that you can see in there. It's like the analytics of the calls, who's using it, how often they're using it, and other information and details as to that sort of stuff. One quick thing I am going to touch on before I dive into the details of this promotion that's going on is Rockwell's actually using Chalk, and I think we're one of their biggest customers actually, but we're incorporating this technology into our Tech Connect contracts. Now, I don't know if they're there yet, but I do know that all of our tech support engineers have been trained on the app, which you guys saw. It's a fairly simple one, but you'll start to see that this is an option and it's going to be available in Tech Connect contracts to be able to connect with people in the field, to be able to troubleshoot our devices, our controllers, our IO, whatever it might be. So that's another good thing to look forward to. And honestly, as far as the high level overview of what Chalk is, that's about it. A really important thing to note here is this promotion that's going on. So PTC and Rockwell are actually offering this to all customers for free until the end of June. And it's not just, a couple accounts here and there. They're really giving a pretty hefty package with it. It's 1,000 seats, and they are willing to give more if it's needed. And all of those 1,000 seats can be assigned to have host enabled abilities as well. So it's a really good thing to look into, and we hope that this is going to be something that's helpful right now with a lot of people working at home. PTC does intend to extend that free trial if these stay-at-home orders and the situation that we're in is also extended. So we hope that it's not, but if it is, you can look forward to not having to worry about that being taken away. But I think overall, this is a simple tool, but a really powerful one. And, we hope that it'll be valuable to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and click this link here. This link is going to take us to the site that you can actually go in and register for an account on. Only one person for your organization needs to register. PTC is pretty good at making sure they can catch whenever there's multiples with the same package so that you don't have to have two going within the same organization. But if you guys are interested, I definitely recommend having somebody sign up for it and then start to play around with that enterprise management tool, get it going, and see if it's a valuable tool for you guys to use during this time. But that's all I've got. I'm going to turn it back to Mike or Wayne or Brian and anyone else. We can either open up to questions unless there's anything you guys want to add there.
Okay. This is Mike Masterson. We'll take any questions. We've had a few that have come over. Myself as an automation specialist, if you were to look at the pictures on my phone, you would see a lot of cabinets, which I've had to go out to customer sites and take pictures of to decipher this. This would have saved me a trip. So this is a real, I think this is a perfect tool for a lot of technicians and troubleshooting. Let's see, one of our guys out of New Orleans says he's used this for his low voltage MCC group, has in has a virtual fat test, and it worked great. So that's another option to take a look at of how to utilize this. Now, I don't see any more questions coming up. So what I would say, if you have any more questions on this and you want to sign up for the live demo, please go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, if you do have more questions, reach out to your rentals account manager or your automation specialist, and we'll talk you through some of this. We're all getting up to speed on it, so if you have any questions, please let me know.